So listen, I've done countless business models. I made millions online in info, courses, all kinds of different things, e-com, whatever. But recently, I found this boring kind of job thing that literally pays you anywhere from 10 up to 50K a month. I'm gonna show you some of my homies here that are chilling, that are doing this exact thing. Okay, so John, you're doing this boring job, selling things online, right? How much you make with this?
Like 25K a month.
John makes like 25. Look at the slick back hair. Look at this guy looking smooth. Isn't that guy smooth? Look at Nick. Nick, how much you pull in with this?
I don't have the slick back, but I make well over 30 grand every single month.
Well over 30. He's being, you know, how do you say that? Fucking
Modest.
modest. No, the other word. Humble. He's being a humble guy. He does like 40, 50. Trevor, you just got in recently. How much you pulling in with this?
I think I did like 12K last month.
Okay, sick, bro. So listen, guys, in this video, I'm just gonna walk you through this boring job. Literally, anybody can get into this. We're gonna go upstairs, find a little quiet and peace here. But we're here in Medellin, Colombia, by the way, in PH. And this boring job is something that anybody can get into and can get to serious numbers within the next 90 days, okay? Within like a month or a couple months, you can start pulling in definitely 10, 20, 30, and even more. And I'm gonna tell you in this video exactly why. And more importantly, I'm gonna be telling you why this beats any other business model that I've seen. Okay, your boy's out of breath already, which probably says a lot about me because I'm actually a boxer, but that's besides the point. So look, you probably heard about things like Amazon FBA, about drop shipping, about trading, about starting a marketing agency, any of those things, or maybe even, you know, doing online sales, digital sales. Like I said, my boys are essentially doing digital sales. By the way, we're here on the rooftop. We got a little jacuzzi. It's a little overlit here. We got some great Medellin views. We got Papacito over here. Hey, Papacito. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás las chicas? Excelente.
Excelente. Buenas.
And we got a little barbecue setup here. But as I'm saying, this compares way different than all these other business models that you probably already heard of. Because you got to understand that all of these business models, right, especially if you're a beginner, they require first a couple different things. So first of all, they usually require you to put in a lot of capital actually, right, to be able to start making money. And that's suboptimal if you're a beginner because obviously you don't necessarily have a track record of success yet, right? So you're gonna put in thousands of dollars into products or into trading or, you know, into whatever it may be in order to make this work, but you don't know, you know, it's a very high risk that you're not gonna get anything out of it. We got a little walk-in closet here, okay, for all the designer shit. And, you know, the problem is that then if you do that, then you don't make it work. Let's say that you don't make it work in the first couple of months. Then what's gonna happen is you're gonna bleed to death financially and you're not gonna have any more money to put in. And now you're looking at a situation where you're having to get loans and really having to spend a lot of money to make money and to get over that first hurdle, which you're definitely gonna have as a first-time entrepreneur. Okay, so that's the first thing. But the second thing is that most of these business models, guys, they're just not as simple because they require you, it's a business, right? So they require you to learn all these different skills in order to actually make it work. And so that is something that takes more time. That is something that's way more difficult, okay? Now, the big thing about this boring job that I say, it's not really a job. It's kind of in between a job and a business because even if you're looking at other sales opportunities, okay? Like I said, we're selling online, we're doing digital sales here. So essentially we're picking up the phone, we're going through a list and we're having conversations about 20 minutes. We go through a word for word script and then we close these people and then we get about $1,000 or $800 to $1,000 commission. And you know, that's kind of how you get to those numbers. Now, the only other thing that kind of gives you that is, you know, doing high ticket sales in like a coaching industry or something like that. But the problem with that is that with that, it's just a short-term thing because you're still in more of a job, right? You're very dependent on the company that you're working for your growth, and you know, you're ultimately not working towards something. Yes, you can get to 20K a month, whatever, with that high ticket sales or more, but the problem there is like it's just about the short term because ultimately if you want to do something, you know, where you're going to grow into 50 or 100K a month or really grow into some semi-passive or more leveraged income where you're not spending your own time for it, right? Then that's going to be very dependent on the company, which is going to be very rare that they're going to put you in a position like that. Or what's going to happen is you're going to have to do something else at some point, which is fine, but maybe it's not optimal for you. Now, the model that I'm talking to you about today, okay, is life insurance. Selling life insurance to granddads, grandmas, and average people. And so with this, it's extremely simple because everybody needs life insurance, right? Everybody wants to insure their family for when at some point they're not there anymore, right? Because most people don't just have 10 grand laying around for a funeral that might happen or any of those kinds of things. And so this business model allows you to sell something where you give people something that they want and need. They've raised their hand, you're getting a list, okay? And they're raising their hand saying, hey, I want and need this. Now guys, if you want a full guide on this, you can check out the link in the description because I've put together a training, with actual slides that can show you exactly how to do this. But for now, I'm going to give you a little bit more context as to why this makes sense. So basically, that is the first thing. It's going to be much easier to sell because you're essentially more of an advisor. The way that we do it is we work with a brokerage where you're saying, I call it the Expedia model. You're basically selecting between different insurance providers and giving the best options to these people, right? What would be more difficult, right? Or what would be easier? Going and only selling American Airlines to someone, even asking their dates, hey, when do you want to fly? Where do you want to fly? Plugging it in and then giving them an American Airlines deal, right? Which we all know can be complete shit, right? For the price, or being like Google Flights or Expedia, where you plug in their details and then you can just give them the different options from all the airlines and you just get a fee for referring them. It's essentially more of an advisor or a referrer than a real salesperson, okay, which makes it a lot easier. But here's the big things. The three biggest things that you have in this industry that you're not going to find anywhere else combined, right, is you have the short-term cash flow. Like my boys downstairs are all doing great and they're all in Medellin, right, and we're all doing this. You have the short-term cash flow where you can make anywhere from 10 to 30, 40, 50 even a month. And then the second thing is that you're going to get residuals on every contract you close because obviously this is life insurance, right? It's lifetime essentially. So you're going to get a residual every single year of the contract value. So over time that stacks up. Now in the beginning that's not going to be a ton, but over time that certainly stacks up, right? Then number 3 is going to be that once you hit 10K a month, etc., right? You're going to be able to start building a team under you, okay? And that team, you're going to get a manager's fee over whatever they produce, okay? And if you're like, okay, well, that sounds great, but I wouldn't know where to find people or this or that. Actually, we have our leadership program. You'll find more info about that at the free class. Just to be transparent, it's a free class, and then we show you at the end, hey, it's a short 30-minute video. Then at the end, we show you, hey, what it would look like to work with us to get the 10K a month guaranteed, and then from there on, grow on to 30K a month. Because we're actually having so many people because of our social medias, the different guys, etc., that you're going to be working with directly that you just met. And we have so many people inbound that we need to staff them under leaders, right? So we're creating leaders. We have our leadership program. And then automatically, once you hit 10K a month, we're going to staff people under you. And you make about 750 to 1K a month per agent if they're doing average for managing them, okay? Anyways, but without getting into the weeds too much here, if you want to know more, then obviously link in the description. But with that being said, that is a very big thing because you're going to create the semi-passive income for sure. Whereas with other sales positions, you're never sure if you're going to get into a manager position. And personally, I know a company that was doing well over 8 figures a month. Okay, this is just a great example. And some stuff happened in the market. And now literally, boom, 40 of their salespeople had to be fired because once again, they didn't have the leads anymore. Just something happened in the landscape. Now with life insurance, nothing's going to happen. Everybody's still going to want it, need it. And with the way that we set it up, you have the freedom to get as many leads as you want for free, etc., right? You have the ability to do your own things, whatever, right? It's like a little business within a business where you get all the benefits of a business, but without the downsides, without the headache, like legal, like learning all these different skills, etc., right? But you're also not trapped in a job, essentially, a glorified job that people talk about nowadays. So with that being said, the last thing that I want to tell you is actually the fourth thing. It's a bonus thing, but this is for the guys that are like in this for the long term, right? You can sell after a couple years, after you collect this list of contracts that pay you every year as well, as I said, with the residual value, you can literally sell that for a one-time upfront investment from private equity, okay? Now, if that sounds complex, let me compare it to something simple for you. Justin Bieber sold his music catalog for like 200 million, right? Because obviously those things produce residual income, and he just wanted an upfront check. It's just like selling real estate, selling a music catalog, and you can do that with your list of contracts that you build up over years. Now, once again, that's a long-term play, right? If you're looking at this, you can do this, guys, not only for short-term cash flow, not only for semi-passive income, but even into your retirement fund, you can literally sell this book of business, is what we call it, your list of contracts, okay? So that's why this makes a whole lot of sense. And I want you to understand that, I'm bringing this out because literally I have made millions, as I said in the beginning of this video, in the online information space, okay? I actually had a door-to-door sales job when I first started, and that was just selling like charity and newspapers and stuff like that. And it was door-to-door, I was going through the snow and going through the rain, and then I started a marketing agency. Now, I made that work, but it's pretty fucking difficult because you had to learn all these different skills, right? I had to do sales, I had to cold call businesses, then I had to go to these businesses, then I had to close these businesses, and then I had to actually perform a marketing service for them that I had no idea how to do that yet because I was an 18-year-old high school dropout. I'll try to pop up some pictures of me back then, and it was pretty difficult, but I did make it work, right? I got it up to like 10K a month within 3 to 4 months. I got it up to 3 to 4K a month, funnily enough, and then 6 months after that, I actually got it up to like 25K a month-ish. So I definitely made it work. I moved to Bali, then I moved to Los Angeles, etc. And then I got into the information space. So the only thing that I could compare to this hustle that I'm talking to you about, because look, the reasons I'm saying like 20K a month, 25K a month, etc. is because that's like what you get to once you're like just getting into it, but you can grow this so much bigger. There's really no limit because you can build a huge team under yourself, right? And then it's going to be semi-passive too. But with that being said, the only thing that I could compare that is, coming close to this business model is the information business where you're selling your coaching, selling information, whatever, right? And that is a great business and I love that and I've done that, but there's a reason that I shifted out of that to go fully into life insurance and fully building a team there and fully doing that there, okay? And I want to bring that to the public because my mission essentially in life, guys, is to just set a higher standard for the young fellas watching this kind of stuff and even for the older fellas watching this stuff that want to still turn their life around and get real results, okay? We have people that are already making 20K a month, 30K a month as high ticket closers or in other businesses going into this because the opportunity is so big. So I wanted to tell you my story, to like kind of clarify and make you understand why I chose to really shift into this because once again, with the info business, yes, you're making high upfront cash, but you have to do all these different things, having to do the coaching yourself. Now, if you love that, that's fine, that's great, but you got to understand there's no exit potential there, right? Or I only know a couple people in the whole space that have done it because you cannot sell a business that's based on you, right? Because then obviously the main core element of it is gone. And so if you're going to put your focus somewhere, guys, I don't care if it's this or not. Like for example, if you're someone who's like, I hate talking to people, I'm super introverted, I get energy from just, looking at spreadsheets and looking at numbers all day. This is probably not going to be for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's probably just going to burn you out because, like, you're going to have to talk to people all day. That's definitely the reality of it. And so I don't want to say that this is for everybody. It certainly isn't, right? But with that being said, if you are a person who also values, your personal growth, your communication skills, your confidence, and just being a charismatic person in general, right? Besides just how you make money, this is a way for you to make a ton of cash with those 4 benefits that I mentioned to you, which are, the residuals, the semi-passive income from the team building, the high upfront cash, right? And then ultimately the ability to sell your book of business, right? All of those things are combined into this. So with that being said, if you're gonna put your focus somewhere, guys, I'm 26 years old right now, okay? Yes, I made millions of dollars, but I could have done so much fucking better, okay? I had a lot of personal shit hold me back, and these videos I really primarily make, like, look, we run ads and stuff, I make my money, okay? These videos, as you can see, they don't get a ton of views, but it's really for my mission that I make these, right? And so what I want to do in these is like just give you the lessons that I could have really used when I was first starting or even a couple years ago. And so the point that I want to make to you is if you're going to put your focus somewhere, put it somewhere where it's going to fucking pay out big. Because honestly, thinking big is free, okay? Thinking small is free. So you can choose. What do you want to do? You want to think small or do you want to think big? Okay? Because thinking big is going to get you big things, okay? It says, ask and you shall receive in the Bible. You just need to believe, okay? You need to believe in yourself. You need to believe and start viewing yourself as the person that is actually deserving of these things, as the person that's actually a winner, okay? And this is even more important than all the strategic stuff that we've already talked about. And if you want more of the strategic stuff, then the link is in the description for that, right? The actual step-by-step of how to do this stuff. But with that being said, the most important is in between the years, because this process is so extremely simple, right? What we'll do to train you is train you on sales, communication, all that kind of stuff, give you a guaranteed placement, give you a guarantee that you're going to get to 10K a month within 90 days, staff people under you after that, all of that kind of stuff is very cool, right? But the process is so simple. You're going to get a word-for-word script, you're going to say this and that, but what's going to hold people back from succeeding is what's in between the ears, okay? Is actually being able to execute on this stuff. And that is going to come down to you, right? Having the leverage to do this, the motivation. So why do you actually really want to do this? What is really the reason? What's the underlying drive for you to do anything at all? Because humans are naturally lazy because our brain just wants to survive, right? And survival means conserving energy, right? Conserving resources, right? So you're only going to really do something if your subconscious brain deems that it's going to be giving you so many resources that it's going to be so worth it that it's going to be worth expending that energy for it, okay? So you got to take that into account. So that's the leverage. And then the second thing is like you have to start seeing yourself as a true winner, okay? And once again, that's free to do, but it takes a little effort because most of us have been conditioned not to, right? Because from 0 to 7, it's not your fucking fault, but it will be your responsibility to fix it after getting this information, okay? Because I'm telling you, these are the most life-changing things that I know. And so you got to understand that you're programmed from 0 to 7 by your parents, by early childhood events, to see yourself in a certain way. And if you haven't been winning in life yet, then it always largely comes down to you not feeling like you would deserve to win, like you not feeling like you are that, okay? So you need to start conditioning that into yourself, like essential fake it till you make it attitude, and that applies to if you want to use those strategies that I just gave you earlier in this video, okay? So I hope that hits home. Definitely, if you think that that resonates, right, and that path. And look, guys, I'm saying it's a boring path because it's not as sexy as like, oh, I'm going to do my own clothing line. Oh, I'm going to like make this new software for the world. No, you're selling life insurance policies to granddads. It's not super sexy, all right? But what it is going to help you with your communication skills and your confidence. And you're going to be, you know, a rich guy that's actually fucking cool instead of just a rich guy that looks at spreadsheets all day. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with that if that's you, but I'm just saying for the guys that do have the ambition to be that and to have all the best benefits of any online business model that I just broke down logically for you, then this is absolutely something you should act on. Start seeing yourself as a winner and start fucking winning. I'll see you in the next one.